Okay, so let's quickly go through it. Tell me, what do you expect?
All right. So I'll save all the ceremonial stuff for later. I'll post edit that in. For now, I'll just say, um, this is the worst part of my job is marketing. I hate it. It's not the thing I want to do with my life. And we have to somehow get the word out about Mikey's course. And what we discovered recently is that people who are interested in their intellectual development. They love seeing how the sausage gets made, so to speak. They love to see the syllabus come together, the rationale that goes into the syllabus.
Mhm.
And so I wanted Mikey to kind of just share with you the main things, the main readings, and why he thinks that this is so essential to your work or whatever. And I
So
don't know,
what
you guys.
is my role in it? Tell me exactly what, where, what, how am I supposed to intervene?
Yeah.
Well, so basically what I want to do is I'm just going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell everybody what the readings for the course will be, and then I'm going to ask you just a few questions about your theory of ideology, because this course is basically an intro to your theory of ideology. And let's see, the a couple things on ideology I want to ask you, and then yeah, from talking about Sublime Object. And if that's all I've got a couple other questions, but depending on
You
how
know
long
what
it
I
goes, we'll just,
propose? So that, because again, as I warned you, I'm limited to half an hour.
Right.
sure.
Why don't you simply skip that introductory part? You can add it later.
All right, you heard him there, guys. So Slavoj said to add the introduction later. So I'll just go ahead and do that right now, right here. Basically, Mikey's course, Introduction to Žižek, is going to be a 4-week course. It happens during the 4 Saturdays of September. Even if you cannot attend during the time that he is lecturing, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, New York City time. Even if you can't attend live, you'll be able to get the recordings. This course is made to be affordable for workers with earbuds, but at the same time, there are higher tiers of involvement. So go ahead and take a look at that, theoryunderground.com/courses/Žižek-1, or just check the link in the description down below. And with that, let's get to this interview. It's going to be awesome. All right, enjoy.
Will
Okay.
you explain what the course is about? And
Okay.
just ask me questions.
Okay. That, so here's
Just one note I cannot resist in my bad taste. When you, Dave, said making sausages, what goes in? Well, I don't want to know, because what goes into making a sausage? Because, in British breakfast, those strange British English sausages that you get,
Yeah.
it's better not to know what's in them. There is a law that says there should be at least 10% of meat and animal products in them. So better not to think what's the 80%, 90%.
yeah.
I don't want to know how they make sausages, no? So I
Okay.
propose that we go directly to Q&A.
Okay.
You can use my image, blah, blah, or I don't, as if I'm there, but I want to use time economically. What I'm afraid is that you talk, present the kit, and then we have 10 minutes or what,
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So here's what we'll do. Because I did want to tell you, we do have one little update on the Nick Land situation, and that I just want to tell you what he said about your article, and then the idea of having a discussion with you. So that's something I want to, the viewers will want to see what you think of that, and then we'll go directly into the questions about your
Okay.
theory of ideology.
Okay.
Take
Okay.
it away.
Okay.
And we'll keep it short, Slavoj. We know you're tired. You've been
Yeah, because
traveling. So
life is heat. Here it's still a heat wave, and I hate life. Okay, but okay, let's begin.
okay.
Take it away, Mikey.
All right, Slavoj. Thanks for being here. Yeah, today what we wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about your theory of ideology, get the students who are going to be taking my course, basically give them a little introduction, some of the topics that we're going to cover in the course. And these are just some of the questions I've always wanted to ask you as well. And So, okay, but before we get into that, real quick, I want to tell you the little update on the Nick Land situation. So I just found out, right around the time that you wrote your article, he got a new Twitter account. It's called Xenocosmography. And somebody asked him on it what he thought about your article. And he said, it's actually far lamer than I'd guessed. Now, I kind of expected this because you did a very short to the point engagement with accelerationism. And so I figured if he ever responded, he would just say, "Oh, well, you know, it wasn't detailed, or it wasn't that." That would be his comeback. But of course, the problem is you've engaged with him, you've shared your thoughts on accelerationism, and he's taken jabs at you over the years on Twitter. But when it comes to the idea of having an actual discussion with you, he's very timid in that regard. And so somebody just asked him about that and said, somebody named Chatbot Maru said, "Hey, Nick, did the guys from Theory Underground finally reach out for a debate with Žižek? I just remember that." And then get ready. This is Nick Land's response to the idea of having a debate or discussion with you with us. He says, "Debating someone unversed in diagonal Anglo-Elvish etymologies is futile, though. They don't even understand where the word God comes from." So okay, I guess none of us know the Elvish origin of the word God. So I guess there's no point in having a
Yeah,
discussion.
okay. I expected something like that, but what I want to tell you is just two things. Do you know that a book of mine, a new one, short collection of mostly political essays, which will come out in around 2 months from Bloomsbury, the title is Against Progress. So it's the exact opposite. I try from a radically leftist standpoint to problematize the notion of progress, saying how we should be attentive to what is the secret price of progress. So I'm now very much in a conservative, of course, communist conservative mood. My new formula is that the forthcoming, if something like that will happen, revolution would have been, in the most radical sense of the term, a counter revolution, in the sense that every revolution ended with tens of thousands, millions of debt. So all those debt has to be redeemed, symbolically, of course. The second point I want to make, it may amuse you, is that now the big debate, I wonder how the guy will answer, is that on a Substack, I replied to a pretty brutal attack by some guy, Swami, and so on. I cannot pronounce the whole second part of the name. An Indian guy who, as I expected, that somebody will do, very brutally counterattacks my remarks apropos Oppenheimer, the way I mentioned Bhagavad Gita and so on. So I think there will come from that direction, the next big debate will come. You know, all these old stories. I'm too Eurocentric. I don't even understand Oriental spiritual depth and so on and so on. I think my answer is not so bad, but let's wait and see. No?
Yeah. Okay. Uh, so okay, here's something just to give some more context to why I'm doing this course. So
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the reasons I'm going to keep teaching your work is my issue I've always had when people critique you is that none of them have bothered to actually read your main works. They always base their opinions on you and your philosophy on interviews or on your short articles or
Or
on
even, sorry to
lectures.
interrupt, or even worse, on my confused, totally improvised podcast statements. Not
Yeah,
you here, but usually, for example, that unfortunate event with Piers Morgan and so on, where I, of course, improvised it totally. but it's easy to find where I plagiarize myself. That is to say, where in my written word I give a much more precise formulation. So
Well, and
I
quick
agree with you. Yes.
quick question. Do you have any particular regret about the Pierce Morgan interview? I thought it was a great conversation.
No, because it got, I don't know, 500,000 views. It's good for propaganda.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. I didn't do it out of any deep spiritual need. It's propaganda
Okay.
to reach you. Because today, I think precisely in all these so-called new media, blah, blah, podcasts, and so on, there is gradually a new so-called public space emerging. And you have many voices which you don't find them in the official public space, big journals and so on, but they can be very influential at this level of digital public space. For example, to give you an example, but I don't bother even answering him. Did you encounter a name, Gabriel Rockhill?
yeah,
He
He's
want
a guy who,
he wants to come on
yes,
the channel. Yeah, he might come on the channel to defend himself because I had Chris Catrone on recently saying why he's full of shit. And we actually defended you against his article when he wrote that takedown last
yeah,
year.
but it's not just this, just that guy, that podcast that he did on me as the clown of contemporary global capitalism,
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
He then goes on, he tries to uh, uh, critically reject most of so-called Western Marxism. For me, his key podcast is where he tries to prove the links between Frankfurt School, especially Adorno and Horkheimer, and CIA. But what is really behind all this is a line of thought at the origin of which, from what I know, is that Italian Marxist guy Domenico Losurdo,
Right.
and his point is a very simple one. They try to put it in more subtle way, but the basic point is rehabilitation of real socialism, of Stalin, of Maoism, that nonetheless, that was the true revolutionary event, and we in the West, we are traitors. And I
100%.
simply, for theoretical reasons, for political reasons, maybe I'm in my old age becoming a naive humanist, but I cannot accept that. So this is one tendency. No, then there are, of course, other tendencies and so on. I'm just saying that that's why I think what you are doing, not just this course on my work, but also generally what you are doing as podcasts and so on is so important because, again, don't underestimate this new, whatever we call it, digital public space. I think that this is even the lesson that we can get from the new populist right, Trump and so on.
Mm-hmm.
They're very strong in this space. They're followed by hundreds of thousands. Or look, a guy who now had a kind of a second birth, Jordan Peterson,
Mm-hmm.
much worse than his first life. There I had, as you know, a certain, not sympathy for him, but with his opposition to this cancel culture, pseudo-radicalism, he made a point. But now he plays a big wise man. He talks about things he probably has no idea about, from quantum physics to theology to what is happening in Russia, in Europe, and so on. But he gets viewers, incredible numbers. So again, I think you are doing what has to be done precisely in the medium where this has to be done.
yeah, yeah. And part of it, Slavoj, is look, whenever I get it, because I'm a card carrying Žižekian, right? Like I make no bones about that. And what I
Yeah,
mean,
but you should here. I will criticize you in a very friendly way. But from time to time, you should add. This is what I'm saying to all my friends. You should add a gentle critical stab at me. Like maybe Žižek wasn't clear here. Maybe he didn't develop this point clearly. Oh, the way he puts it here can open up a way into a direction that we don't want to take and so on. Please, I need this,
Okay, fair enough. But at the same time, there's that great clip of you when the Derridian was saying, "Oh, there it seems to be like some sort of dogmatic Lacanianism operate," and you're
Yeah.
like, "I am a Lacanian. I make no bones about like And my point is, the reason I will say I'm a Žižekian is precisely because at this point, everybody thinks they're talking about you. They think they're talking about your philosophy,
Mhm.
and your enemies are dismissive of you, and yet none of them have read one of your major works. And that's what pisses me the fuck off. Is they
And
don't know Sublime Object.
Yeah,
They
I
don't know
fully,
Sublime. They don't know Tearing with the Negative. They don't know Parallax View. They don't know
Sex in the
So
Field
I'm just
Absolute. They don't. Yeah.
yeah. They don't
yeah,
know your work.
no, I deeply agree with you because then people, because of, I admit it, sometimes bad taste jokes and so on, may appear as just, producing free associations, confused thoughts. But I am deeply convinced, that's why I'm going on with my work, that beneath all this, there is, in a very traditional way even, a basic philosophical approach to reality, which now I'm finishing a new book. I try to develop it with reference to quantum physics, Hegel, critique of Heidegger, and so on. And I'm even tempted to write, this is meant in a deeply ironic way, my version of that Stalin's classical text, which is total bullshit philosophically on dialectical and historical materialism. But something like that, like a big, clear presentation, of course, to understand it really, people will have to read some other stuff from me. But again, I do have a basic philosophical view of reality. I do have specific theory on history, where precisely now I try to, based on some notions from quantum physics, superpositions, collapse, I try to reformulate Marxism to get rid of the remainders of naive progressive evolutionism that you find there, and plus how is politics in what form possible today. I think that before I drop that and so on, it is my duty to make it clear. So, okay, this you can use it in this public, but I would like to have you just on condition that it's only for the two of you. The very rough version, I will work on it
Oh,
for
wow.
over a year of my latest manuscript, where I precisely deal with all that stuff, kind of a
Love it.
return to
Really?
philosophical basics.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would love to see
You're going to
that.
send us your version, the rough draft of your version of Stalin's dialectical and historical
No, not
materialism.
yet. That I will do it as a conclusion. I'm not yet there,
Okay.
Okay.
but it's 3 parts, book in 3 parts. It's still short. First is uh, quantum materialism.
Okay.
How can quantum physics be applied to renovate materialism? Second part is uh, uh, a reply, basically a dialogue with Robert Pippin. His latest book, Culmination, where surprisingly he, the great Hegelian, now made a fatal move from Hegel to Heidegger. He accepts Heidegger's criticism of Hegel. I try to defend Hegel. And the third part is more narrowly on politics, actual questions, ecology, artificial intelligence, and all that. So again, I want to return to, but please, questions.
Okay. So,
Okay.
all right.
We've
So,
got 10 minutes. Let's go.
Okay, 15, quarter of an
Okay.
hour, but that's
All right.
really.
Okay.
15.
So, right. So this course I'm teaching, it's an introduction to your theory of ideology. So I'm going to take 4 key chapters of some of your books that I think are the most important there. Next year, towards the beginning of next year, I'm going to teach Sublime Objective Ideology. So this is kind of going to be a companion course to that one. My question for you
Sorry
is,
to interrupt you, but lose time. Sorry. We can have a short Zoom interview next year before you begin,
oh, okay.
where in a good Stalinist spirit of self-criticism, I will tell you what I think are, from today's perspective, the weaknesses of Sublime Object.
That's what my question was going to be.
Are they the critiques? Are they the critiques in the preface here of For They Don't Know What They Do?
Not quite. I'm moving further.
Okay. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, I would look, because one of my questions was gonna, but we'll save it till the next talk. But I wanted to ask you, like, if you were to actually say, okay, I'm gonna rewrite Sublime Object all these years later, what would the differences be, right? So if we want to tackle that one whenever we have the next Zoom, then we can do
Next
that.
time. Next time.
No. But I can give you a very brief answer.
Great. Okay. I was hoping so.
Hello, beautiful listener. I see you. Just kidding. I can't. But I have to interrupt this just really quick to make my own advertisement, my very own, the one that says subscribing, liking, commenting. It actually makes a really big difference. So even if you're just on the free side, shout out to you. Thanks for doing it. Make sure to subscribe and all that. Especially people on the podcast, make sure to say something nice in the reviews. It actually really helps. And I need reviews on every platform, all right? Because I just hate to say it, it matters, you know? I try not to chase the almighty algorithm, but also I don't want to have all of this beautiful content go to waste. And so I'm trying to walk a fine line between quality and quantity. And I come out way heavier on the side of quality, as you can obviously see we do here. But come on, let's push that subscribe button, you know? Let's smash that like button, you know? Like, teach the algorithm what you actually care about, all right? And then maybe it'll show it to other people. That's great. All right, let's get back to it.
Sublime Object maybe focuses too much on ideology and doesn't make, I'm sorry for using this old-fashioned philosophical language, doesn't go deep enough into what I cannot but call ontological presuppositions of ideology. It's not enough to criticize ideology. One should also explain how reality itself is structured so that it needs ideology. Because ideology, as Marx knew very well, is not just ideology in the sense of you criticize it, then you see reality itself. Ideology is a constitutive moment of social reproduction. You lose ideology, social reality as we know it itself disintegrates. So that's the first thing I would have done. Focus more on basic ontological questions. The second thing, towards the end, I am a little bit too benevolent towards democracy.
Yeah.
It may appear as if, you know, all that old poetry of democracy where the place of power is empty and so on. I no longer would have put it in those terms. It's not that I'm becoming some kind of a closet totalitarian or whatever. I'm just saying that we should be very precise with the two key notions of today, democracy and ideology. We are all for democracy, more or less, okay, for ideology, for democracy, for freedom. But as Alain Badiou said, and here I still agree with him, proper concepts are concepts which allow you to draw a line of division, to put it in very naive terms, to distinguish clearly the truth from falsity. I don't think notions of freedom and democracy can play this role. Democracy is now a totally watered down notion. On the one hand, this is the extreme case, but you notice how North Korea, South Korea is Republic of Korea, North Korea is Democratic Republic of Korea. So they refer to democracy. On the other hand, Western imperialism, blah, blah, refers to democracy, not even to mention freedom. Because as even now in the United States, what we, even if you are a moderate leftist, consider important condition of freedom. For example, to be really free, you need to have basic education, you need to have health care, but no. Neoliberal populists, they are together here, claim that, you want that the state prescribes you a doctor or to which university you go. So for me, not that state should prescribe you which university to go, but my God, for me, isn't it part of actual freedom? And by actual freedom, I don't mean some Stalinist bullshit where the party knows better than you what you want. I simply mean to be really free means in a very naive way, to realize your potential, to find the vocation, what you want, without appropriate education accessible to you. You are not really free. So in this sense, you can see how the notion of freedom today is too confused. You must spend a lot of time to specify it. So that would be the second point. My sublime object, especially the last part, is too confused at this level.
Would you say part of it is because the way I've always read it is the Soviet Union was in the process of breaking down. There's all these, new political dynamics going on in Slovenia, and you were really influenced by Leclau, and you seem to have an optimism towards democracy there that soon faded.
Exactly. Now you put it. I'm sorry. Now I no longer have that optimism, although my friend, I have differences with him. Varoufakis goes too far now in the opposite direction. Like Europe is dead, social democracy is dead, and so on. I wouldn't put it like this. I just think, you know what we need? Now I will give you the formula, because I forgot where I've written something about it. We need a new Socrates. By Socrates, I mean, what did he do? He intervened in a period of deep social crisis. Athenian state was in deep crisis, falling apart. And what he did is that he didn't do what so-called pre-Socratic philosophers were doing. In a way, they were too much in continuity with pre-philosophical thought. You directly ask these big questions. What is reality? Is it water, basically? Is it fire? No, Socrates is simply asking this much more elementary, modest question. I know nothing, so tell me, when you speak about courage, when you speak about goodness, what do you mean? And he is trying to define precisely these terms to make them truly universal. So I think we need a Socrates to terrorize us a little bit. Like, what do we mean by democracy? What do we mean by freedom? What do we mean by solidarity? What do we mean by justice? For a conservative, justice means every one of us should be at his or their proper place in social hierarchy. For us, of course, this is not justice.
And part of what we're doing is, Dave's first book was called Time Energy. My book that's coming out soon is called Capital versus Time Energy. And us being, working class guys, we see how the fundamental issue for us is time energy. We don't have enough time energy to explore our potentials, engage, find our passions in life, to lead meaningful
or to
lives.
even have functional families, right? Yeah.
Well, you can't even have a family at this point.
Right.
And
but
so
this is sorry to interrupt you, but maybe this will be of some interest to our viewers. This is a very important point. People say we are a very developed society, blah, blah, progress. But no, it's the trend in all developed countries of, and I don't advocate traditional family, but people simply don't want to have children, families, and it's not because they are some crazy individualist hedonist. It's precisely they're under such a pressure to perform at their job and so on that you simply cannot afford to have a proper family. And now, my point would have been here, we should not abandon this domain to the new right. We should propose our own theory of how should a progressive family, whatever you call it, look today. Can I draw, maybe this will interest your readers, an extremely interesting small note. I found it in CNN, big media, but it's very interesting, on a weird trend now in China. Thousands of successful business women, managers, and so on, said, I don't have time for family life. I cannot relax. I cannot enjoy art. So thousands of them, it's a trend. They abandoned their highly paid executive blah, blah jobs and adopt a much more modest job. Like one of them, it was a shock reported all around China, was a top manager of a mega company. You know what she is now doing? She moved to a small town where she is cleaning apartments. It's crazy, but she said it's well paid because they are difficult to find now in China. And it's very relaxing for me. I do it easily. I do it a couple of hours a day. I live a little bit more modestly, but then I enjoy art and so on. You see, we shouldn't say now some fake progressives would say horrible, women are pushed out of top jobs. No, they are doing something, the message of which is very important, I think.
I love that. I mean, look, and part of what I'm doing with the first book, Capital versus Time Energy, Dave's the one who created the concept, but I'm also taking your theory of ideology and combining it. And so what I'm working out is, you talk about the importance of a quilting point or a master signifier, and it's like, if we take time energy or time energism, right, and we quilt all of our current problems, a whole new meaning emerges through thinking through ecology, thinking through LGBTQ issues, thinking about the economic issues. If we use that signifier, it gives us a whole new way of approaching all of these.
I agree, but I would, speaking, now we will have to conclude, I want to propose another concept. Did you get, it's a very short book, easily written, the last book by Alenka Zupancic, Disavowal.
I haven't read it yet.
Not yet, no.
You should, it's very It's published by Fordham University Press. It's like 70, 80 pages. You know what? I think I still have it. I can do something very dirty. If I have a manuscript, I can send it to you. Just this is all confidential. That's send it around. Because she detects the big shift in ideology today, how knowledge is becoming inoperative. Like you know how things are, but not only this doesn't move you to do something, this knowledge even serves as an excuse not to really do something. Her idea is that the standard disavowal is, I know very well, but I know global warming, blah, blah, but look out, there is sun, we can survive, don't worry. Her point is that you can also use this knowledge in this fake way to say, yeah, we are in a terrible situation, so I know it, and precisely because I know it, you shouldn't reproach me for not doing it. It's a paradox where the fetish is knowledge itself, and this knowledge can be truthful. You know who provided a formula to me? You will find it in the manuscript that I will send you. Of all guys, I didn't expect this. Jean-Paul Sartre, in his reaction to 56 Khrushchev Congress, he said something like, when those in power run out of lies but want to defend their position, their ultimate strategy is to use truth itself as a lie. You know, in what sense? For Sartre, this is what Khrushchev did. He told at least partially the truth. Stalin's terror, Gulag, millions of dead, but he used telling the truth as an instrument to redeem the system, you know. So basically it was truth whose the function of which was to be able to continue a lie. So it's very important when I said not just ideology in the sense of sublime object, at the same level, something is so fundamentally changing with the functioning of ideology today that this remains the ultra important task, crucial.
Thank you
Sorry, I
so
have now
much.
to.
Thank you
Okay.
so
And
much.
but in a month too, if there are problems, I will just conclude with saying, people, you know, in this way, you know, it's a little bit of irony, but I mean it seriously. You, not you, you, potential public, you guys, if you don't take the course organized by Mikey, Dave, and so on, you are objectively siding with the enemy. So, if when we, the people, take power, if you don't want to finish in Gulag or at least in a re education camp, please take this course. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks
Slavoj.
very much. And in a month or two, contact me again when we see what problems you are encountering.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you
Very
so
much.
much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Slavoj.
Bye.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Okay, you heard it here first. If you don't take this course with Michael Downs at Theory Underground, Slavoj has said you are objectively siding with the enemy. And if you don't want to get gulagged or sent to re-education in the eventuality where we win, then you're going to, want to sign up for this course. All right. And really quick, I wanted to say Michael Downs has an ongoing research seminar where he shares his 20 years of research and practice in trying to break down difficult philosophical and theoretical concepts to normies. That research seminar membership gives you, if you are at tier 2 or higher, a discount to any course taught by Michael Downs, as well as access to the past courses that he has taught. So you would get access to his past course on Introduction to Nick Land, access to his course on For They Know Not What They Do by Slavoj Žižek, as well as 90% off of his upcoming Intro to Žižek course. And that's only $30 a month. So sign up today and watch this PSA because I show a little bit more information about that and how to get involved with his seminar, as well as the seminar that I do with my wife, the Snellgrove McKerracher Synthesis Seminar, which is a crash course in sociology, anthropology, the humanities, social sciences, philosophy of science, and ultimately continental theory, analytic, everything, all of it, doing all of it. You want to get involved with that ongoing research seminar? Well, there's a way to get involved with both research seminars. Just watch this PSA right here. I'm going to roll it right now. Let's go.
We cannot do direct revolution, but the only way to lay the foundation for it is to do what you are doing to move the underground. It's a theoretically correct title.
Welcome to Theory Underground, a place for workers with earbuds who are tired of letting others read and think on their behalf, slipstreaming our way into an understanding of the situation that short-circuits the deadlocks of our moment.
Research at Theory Underground focuses on what is most important for understanding our current situation: theory of the subject, capital, time-energy theory, critical media theory, CMT, and the most essential critiques necessary for understanding why the theory, ideology, and common sense of influencers left to right misses the mark.
Theory Underground is coming to a city near you. What that has meant in the last year is traveling across the United States, into Canada, and then all over Europe to promote our books, courses, and ideas related to time energy and underground theory. You've been reading Underground Theory.
I'm a publisher and an editor. I run and review books. Literally, it's my living. This is the best edited collection I've ever read.
Okay, picture this scene. America, early 2021. An Amazon warehouse worker arises from the emerging underground theory internet scene to create spaces for untimely topics and concerns that are too often neglected or kept in isolation today. Joined by a revolving cast of underground theorists, academics, and critics, he establishes what will become Theory Underground, a teaching, research, and publishing platform by and for working-class intellectuals, autodidacts, and academics who want to do more than they're able to do within the confines of academia. That warehouse worker's name is David McKerracher, and his book Time Energy is his first major contribution to the world of theory. It was recently reprinted with a foreword by none other than Slavoj Žižek, who also contributed to Theory Underground's latest book.
My Bible, it's an excellent book.
A collection of essays called Underground Theory.
What you just heard is an excerpt from the Strange Exiles podcast, episode 23, where Bram from Strange Exiles interviewed me and Mikey. For those who don't know, Mikey is the author of the Dangerous Maybe blog. We are publishing one of his books here shortly at Theory Underground. He's also a lecturer at Theory Underground, and he's someone I've been friends and a collaborator with for over 10 years. But most importantly for you all, he's a fantastic lecturer, and it's a crime that he has to do wage labor right now. One of the long-term goals of Theory Underground has been now for a couple of years to hashtag free Mikey. That is something that I've been really pushing, but first I had to get freed from wage labor, which was achieved this year. That's right. Thanks to my monthly seminar subscribers, I was able to quit Amazon and do Theory Underground full time. Now I'm announcing the next big phase of the plan, which is the Mikey Down Seminar. What monthly subscribers to the Mikey Seminar are paying for is a survey of philosophy, including deep dives into Žižek, Land, Lacan, Baudrillard, Bataille, Lyotard, and ultimately the whole history of philosophy.
We're trying to build like this ongoing seminar, right? And that's what I really like about this thing, where, you know, if I'm teaching a main text, that's something I got to focus on. I got to really, but the seminar thing, we can do this stuff all the time where we dive deeper into concepts, we dive deeper into certain, you know, sections of books or whatever, and we can really do this nuanced stuff.
I think that there's probably no better way for us to accelerate our learning in these areas than by slipstreaming Mikey. And that has been my belief for years and years and years now. It's official. You're able to help out. You're able to get involved. You're able to benefit directly from liberating him from wage labor. Get on it right now. Do it. Just go. Stop what you're doing. Go click the button, subscribe. This is what you do. Subscribe to him. If you're already signed up for the ongoing Theory Underground seminars, then that's the ones that I do with my wife, Anne. Though that's getting an upgrade, which means that I will be doing one session per month that is just me, and then I will also be doing the ones with Anne, which are a crash course in sociology, anthropology, the social sciences, and ultimately Marx, Heidegger, Levinas, Bourdieu, imminently critiquing pop psychology, sociology, self-help, and ultimately the doxa of our time. But if you would like to be a subscriber to both Mikey's seminar and the seminar that the Snellgrove McKerrachers are doing, then the best way is to become a Tier 4 subscriber, or you can be a Tier 2 subscriber to each of us. The reason this matters is because Tier 2 is like pretty much the best bang for your buck. It gives you huge discounts on all of the courses that we do. But if you can't afford it, Tier 4 is amazing because it gives you Tier 3 access at both Mikey's seminar and ours.
And finally, not everybody has time to be part of these ongoing research seminars, and they just want to fund the paid content for the YouTube and podcast. And so thank you so much to our patrons over at Patreon. They're the ones funding all the free stuff. So big thank you to Bert, Marilyn, Carl, Sahil, Zozandra, Nikolai, Darian, Tyler, and Mandeep, and all the other wonderful patron people, Patreon people. And thank you to all the other wonderful Patreon people. Thank you so much to all of you patrons, and also to the special subscribers and the paying subscribers. Oh my god, it's just so awkward. Thank you, Patreon. Patrons, thank you. Oh, okay. And to all the other wonderful patrons, thank you so much, all you patrons. And also a special thanks to the subscribers on the YouTube side, as well as the paying subscribers over at Substack. Why can't we do this? God, you guys, just thank you. Thank you, everyone, for making this bullshit possible. Thank you to the subscribers. You do it. You did so good. Thanks, guys.